Okay, so got the setup to talk about defensive positioning, in this case, a vertical stack. And so this is a vertical stack with a very long field to go. And so the disc is here, the white, and they've got a long field to go and score the disc. And I'll first be talking about how we want to position ourselves with that long field. And so this, the pink is the defense. We'll start with a flick force. The little arrow things are like feet. That's the way they're facing. Okay, and we want to start. We want to start with something we call our last back, which is our last defender, and we'll call that person the BAM, okay, or snake. And so they're here. They're facing. They're seeing the disc, and if any offender decides to go deep, okay, that person can help because they can see that the person's beat, and they can peel off and help. Okay, and same thing if someone goes to break side, they can see that easily and go and help. Okay, so our BAM. Okay, we'll give them a handler defender here. Now, well, what do we do with the rest of these folks? When the disc is in the center of the field, that really means that because of the disc being here, the offense can attack both sides of the field pretty evenly, especially if this person is a good thrower and can break the mark, right? They can throw these lanes, no problem, and of course, to the open side, no problem, okay? As well as, of course, the deep space, okay? So that means when the disc is centered, we need to be tight to our person, okay? We want to be definitely dictating and pushing them to the break side, but we also need to be choosing whether we're pushing them deep. In this case, this person is pushing them deep and this way, or we want to be pushing them under, okay? So in this case, this person would be forcing them this way or dictating this way, as well as pushing them under, okay? Now, my preference is to, when you're in these earlier positions, is to push them deep, okay? Because the main reason is because we have this last back, this BAM, and this BAM can help if one of these people busts or goes deep, okay? And in that case, they can switch with the other player. Okay, so my preference is generally to force deep, but there are always cases when you might want to force under, depending on your matchup and whether that person's a really good tall receiver or something like that. So generally speaking, we want to be tight. We don't want to be far off, okay? If we do that, then they're just gonna have an easy time throwing these inside or around throws to these players in the break side. So we don't want to be far off. We want to still be close and make sure that we are making these break throws very, very tight, okay? Anything that goes across, we're there, and they will be hesitant to throw it, okay? So tight when we're in the middle. Okay. I think that covers that. So what do we do now when the disc goes to, say, a sideline? So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this offensive player, okay, was there and it gets thrown to this player, okay? Again, we have got a flick force, okay? So what should these people do? Again, we want our last back. This person is, again, our BAM is helping. Now, I'm not going to say there's one single right answer as to what you should do in this case. I think it's fine if you want to keep this positioning, okay? In this position, though, you will not be able to see the disc, which is here, because you're facing this direction. That is one disadvantage to dictating in this way, okay? You could position yourself to face the disc a little bit, like this, so you can kind of see the disc off the side of your peripheral vision, and you can also see your offender. That can be okay, in this position, because really now we can take a step off, and that's fine because they're less likely to challenge this space. It would probably have to be a hammer, so we're not as worried about this space that I'm erasing right now. We're more worried about this space, right? This is the active space. Most throws are going to be in this space. Okay, so we're most worried about that space. So it's okay to take a step off like we've done here. Okay, it's okay. The one problem I have with this though is that once I start seeing my defender, if I'm an offender, once I start seeing them go sort of laterally with me, and I get into this space and they continue to position themselves like this, I am very excited as this offender because I can go either way, no problem, okay? Once this person is here and they're basically, all they're defending is, they're defending this spot right here, which is, I don't want to go that way anyways. I want to either go here or I would want to go here. And basically, they're setting themselves into a position where they're going to be chasing after the person. So if I make a hard move this way, they're going to most likely turn their hips and start running with me. As soon as I see them do that, boom, I'm gone. And I will not only beat them deep, I will beat them deep by a lot, okay? And so this is a really bad position for you to be when you are out into the cutting space and you're even with this person, okay? That's a no-no. That's a really bad position to be in. You should be really excited as a cutter if you find yourself in the cutting lane and your defender's like this. It's go time, okay? So, again, you could be even to start out with, but as soon as your offender starts pushing in here, you've got to get into a dictating position. So either under, okay? So they're moving out, you've got to get under them and then dictate, okay? Using your body to take away one of the directions. You're going to either take away the under, or of course, if they're a strong receiver deep, okay, we're back at the position. If they start pushing out, you've got to get over them and make sure that you push them, okay? I hope that's very clear, because again, we really want to avoid getting into this cutting lane and being in this position. You will be beat. You might be able to defend it 20% of the time, okay, but 80% of the time, you're gonna get beat really bad, either deep or really bad under, okay? So really avoid this position. And I think personally, if I'm like this in the first place, it's much easier for me when they move out into the lane to maintain that position. So I personally, a lot of times, like to stay in this position almost the whole time. I'll try to maybe position really quickly to see if I can see the disc and then go back, right? I might just take a peek and then go back. But in general, I try to stay here because it's just so much easier to keep that position as they move out, okay? It's really hard to get into this position as they're moving out, okay? So again, I would say play with it, figure out what works for you. I think this is a little bit easier to maintain that position, okay? All right, now, again, what happens if, say, the disc moves to the other far side of the field? So let's just say, for whatever reason, the disc gets swung all the way over to the break side of the field. So again, we still got a flick force. There's a disc, okay? And we'll say that the other handler is somewhere around here. Okay, well, in this case, you got to think about where is the active throwing lane or throwing space, okay? Even though this before was the open side, okay? And you know, it still is, well, if you're gonna throw a throw from here all the way over to here, that's a really hard throw. It's either gotta be a hammer or some big blade. If the offense wants to throw huge blades, go for it. So we're not really worried about defending this space, okay? So we don't want our defenders over here. We're more worried about the easier throw, which is this throwing lane, right? And obviously going deep as well, okay? This is what we want to protect, okay? So we need to position downfield to stop this, okay? So I need to readjust and basically make a mirror or flip my positioning. okay? This person's gonna slightly adjust over to push that person this way, okay? And not letting them go deep, okay? So we still have our BAM. These people are typically pushing more deep, and that's a good positioning for anytime it's on the break side, okay? All right, I think that's good for long field, okay? Now next we're gonna talk about short field.